My fiancé went to a bachelor party. He ended up wasted, sprawled in our penthouse loft with a female guy. When they woke, she tugged at the leopard print pajamas she'd borrowed and flashed me a smirk. Sorry, Serena. Tomorrow I probably can't be your maid. Then, right in front of me, she pinched his arm with a coy whine. It's all Julian's fault. Last night hurt so bad. Julian jolted awake, but the second he saw my stone-cold face, he froze. The air turned solid. That only then did the girl guy slap a hand over her mouth. We just lay there, strictly platonic. We're all dude. Serena, you're not jealous, are you? Noticing my black expression, Julian finally sobered. He forced an awkward chuckle, trying to smooth things over. Babe, this chick never watches her mouth. Don't. But Jasmine's scream cut him off. Julian, what the hell are you flipping out at guys for? She punched his shoulder with a tiny fist. Yanking the duvet to wrap only herself, she put on a show of shy outrage. Get off the bed, now. Julian's whole face burned red. Seeing my thunderous glare, panic flickered in his eyes. Babe, before he could finish, Jasmine leaned in. AWW, baby boy, still shy. I saw every mole on you last night. She looped an arm around his neck and told me, grinning, Serena, last night he lost everything at cards, ended up wearing my clothes. My expression iced over. Julian's skin went from red to purple. Stop talking crap. Watching him flush, Jasmine glanced at him, then at me, and collapsed laughing against his chest. Seriously, Julian, you're whipped. Don't worry, Serena. I'm not after your hubby. Your future hubby's way too tame for me. The guys I order overseas have way more stamina. That single line ignited Julian's competitive streak. He forgot I was even there. He seized her wrist, demanding, you actually order them. Jasmine pouted. Ooh, someone's rattled. Julian ground out her name through clenched teeth. Jasmine? Pure jealous act. He didn't even notice. A knock rattled the door. Move it. Already feeling sick, my face darkened further. Julian turned, seeing me standing at the foot of the bed. His grin died. Babe, only then did he remember we were engaged. Last night wasn't just Jazz and Mikai, and the rest were here. Jazz said she wanted to sleep over in our wedding loft, so she tagged along. He scrambled into his clothes, still so drunk he didn't notice his jeans were on backward. I passed out on the couch. I swear got no clue how I woke up here. I said nothing. My expression didn't soften. He shot Jasmine a look. Beaming, she chimed in, exactly, Serena. If your hubby and I had anything going, you wouldn't be the one marrying him. She rolled her eyes. Quit being so uptight. Every guy has his guys. Her grin widened. No wonder he tells people not to date sensitive girls. Such a headache, right? Julian's face turned crimson. The temperature in the room plummeted. I stood rooted. When I spotted grease from a breakfast sausage on Jasmine's lip, my mind blanked and my stomach lurched. That sausage seemed to yank both of them back to some shared memory. Emotions spilled into their eyes. The moment Julian bent toward her, the rage I'd banked all morning detonated. I strode over, grabbed the bowl of spicy soup on the nightstand, and poured it over her head. By the time she shrieked, blisters were blooming across her pale skin. Serena, are you insane? Still furious, I snatched the sausage and shoved it into her mouth. Serena. Julian yelped, rushing to pull me away. Jasmine grabbed her bubble tea and flung it at me. Bitch, I'll fight you. I sidestepped. The sticky drink splashed full across Julian's face. Syrupy pearls slid from his hair to the floor. He looked freshly birthed. Julian, she stammered, trembling with rage. It's that bitch's fault. My aim was her. Julian's face was thunder enough. Tears flooded Jasmine's eyes. Julian, What's wrong with you? Your babe attacked me and you scream at me. Look, she scalded me. I'll be scarred. Her pitiful act tugged at him. A flash of sympathy crossed his face. After a pause, he turned on me, displeased. Serena, that was out of line. It's just a sausage. Was the drama necessary? Apologize to Jess. She's easygoing. She won't hold a grudge. He ended with a placating smile. I couldn't believe my ears. I'm supposed to apologize. Arms folded, Jasmine leaned against the couple's chairs I'd bought. Come on, Jillian, forget it. Your girl isn't the obedient type. Careful, or you'll go down with her. Julian, obsessed with face, glared at my refusal to bend. He dragged me into the bedroom. Why is saying sorry so hard? And the way you offered to be our efficient. Can you not sound so damn sarcastic? Marrying a girl my guys can't stand. How do I present you? Jess and I cut him off. There's no wedding. What? He stared, blank. I said we're done. I shoved him out, slammed the door, and started packing. Jillian pounded, Serena. Jasmine sang through the wood, kicked out, told you your Bobby's trouble. Red-faced, Julian hammered harder. I didn't answer, no point. Cornered, he yelled, Serena, if you don't open up, the wedding is off. Click, I opened the door. Julian froze mid-knock. He reached for me. I sidestepped. When he saw the suitcase, color drained from his face. What are you doing? I looked straight through him, walked out, and kept going, panicked. He grabbed air. Babe, Jasmine blocked him. Grovel now and you'll never hold your head up after you marry. It's a game hard to get. I know every trick. Your fiancé's a handful. She needs taming. Who marries a shrew? You picked yourself a princess. Teach her a lesson. Let her sleep on the street, Slim. I hurled the suitcase straight at her face. Meeting their stunned stares, I pointed at the door. Sorry, but this loft happens to be mine. The ones who need to get the hell out are you two love rats. Julian stood in the doorway apologizing, said he'd messed up. Only when passing neighbors started whispering and pointing did Jasmine realize she was naked. She screamed and dove into Julian's arms. Julian, get me out of here now. My clothes are still at your place. Julian glared at the slammed door, teeth clenched, then carried her away after they left. I inspected every inch of the penthouse loft. Finally, I found a used item in the corner. Each thing sneered at how stupid I'd been. I grabbed a hammer and smashed every object those two had touched into splinters. I sat on the couch surveying the wrecked loft. On the wall hung our fresh-off-the-press wedding portrait. I am the Jiangjahu only. After graduation, his plan was for me to take over the company. Marry a man of equal status, pop out babies, and glide through life as a worry-free trophy. Sip tea, water flowers, raise kids done. But when I watched the couples in our circle, husbands cheating, families forbidding divorce, wives politely raising their hubby's loves, I realized that he needed a man with no power who'd simply obey. Right up until the female guys appeared, Jillian fit that bill perfectly. Now I see broke men and rich men are exactly the same, both unable to keep it in their pants. I was so disgusted I knelt over the toilet puking for half an hour, until even Bao was gone. I swallowed some medicine and crashed in the only clean guest room. When I woke, most of the pain had faded. I glanced outside. Night had already fallen. I fished my phone from under the sofa cushion. Over 100 unread messages. About a dozen came from the pinned chat. Jas is right. I spoil you rotten until you're irrational. He's my only single guys, and Jas was just doing the sleepover. Why the drama? Try understanding me. You're making this hard. The last two arrived an hour ago. Not coming home tonight. The boys planned me a bachelor party. No jazz this time, babe, so don't be mad. I didn't reply. I exited the chat, stared at the familiar avatar, and accepted the friend request. Because calling off the wedding record a bulletproof excuse, the newcomers seemed deliberate. A photo sent, then instantly recalled. With my photographic memory caught the content, the two of them in a VIP booth, sharing one French fry. Sorry, Serena, sent that by mistake. You didn't see, right? I stayed silent, but she wouldn't let up. Serena, I was out of line that day, just answer Julian, okay? With you ignoring him, he can't even enjoy himself drinking till his stomach bleeds. If you don't care, I do. See for yourself. Next came a video. Julian, stinking drunk, collapsed on Jasmine, unconscious, yet still moaning my name over and over. I felt zero warmth, only indescribable nausea. As I tried to exit, the screen suddenly went black. Then a chorus of male and female voices burst out. They were playing rock, paper, scissors. Lose a round, shed a piece of clothing. Soon it was Jasmine's turn. By coincidence, across from her sat Julian. The crowd roared. Ooh, the lucky groom himself. Jazz girl's gonna cry. When Jazz loses, Julian, no going easy. Jasmine punched the guy's chest. Get lost. Then she turned to Julian, all though eyes. Julian, dare lay a hand on your daddy, just try. Julian stayed mute. Jasmine's luck held. 5 wins in a row. I watched Julian peel off one item after another until only his dress shirt remained. Jasmine's boneless hand pressed against his taut skin. Nice, feels solid. A flush crept up Julian's face. He tensed and growled. Keep groping and you'll be the one crying. The tide turned. After 4 straight losses, everyone's expressions shifted. Already scantily clad, Jasmine was down to scraps. Someone draped an arm over her pink-tinged shoulder. Had enough. Your Julian brother scaring you. Say good, big bro, and I'll take your place. Jasmine let out a coy whine, defiance glittering in her eyes. Julian, just you wait, hunk. The words had barely left her mouth when she lost again. Laughter exploded. Haha, Julian's the man taming the wildcat. Jazz, top or bottom, your call. Julian, don't wuss out, make her lose the top. Give us a pre-wedding treat. The guy nudged Julian with his elbow. Amid the jeers, Julian's lips curled into a smirk. Jasmine's face flamed, but her gaze bored into Julian. She nibbled her lower lip and whined, Julian? You gonna let these pigs I fuck your daddy? Julian grabbed a towel and flung it at her. Ho, white knight Julian. Serena finds out, he's toast. Julian plays favorites towel, me too. In the uproar, Jasmine fished 2 strips of fabric from beneath the towel and slapped them onto Julian's face. Daddy surrenders. She tried to bolt, flipped, and crashed into Julian, stark naked. His hands instinctively clamped together. Cheers melted into suggestive noises. I exited without expression, opened the group helper, dragged every contact into one chat, and forwarded the entire video. I typed a Fox apology. Oops, didn't mean to start a group. Ugh, why can't I recall it? But whatever, just my hubby's bachelor bash with the guys. Finally, I flicked on airplane mode and slept out. Next morning, frantic banging jolted me awake. Serena, get your ass out here. I checked the time. 4 a.m. I slipped on a robe unhurried, filled a basin with cold water, opened the door, and flung it. Jasmine stood drenched, dripping. Move it, bitch, good dogs, don't block the road. She quivered with rage, shoving her phone in my face. You bitch. You did that on purpose. I gave a cold laugh. So you know the video is shameful. Jasmine wouldn't let it go, but Julian, who had chased after her, caught her round the waist. Calm down. The heavy stink of alcohol spread through the corridor. The red blotches on Julian's neck had nowhere to hide. Jasmine's eyes were blood red with fury. Julian, don't forget you're in that video too. In an instant, Julian's face darkened. Serena, just posted clarification in the group, say the clip is deepfake. You saw it yourself, Jas and I were only playing a game. Why so serious? I stared at him, I scolded, serious. We're one public thrust away from full-on sex and you call that serious? Julian's face turned livid. He blocked the door with his hand. Can you stop insulting people? Who exactly am I insulting? Did I tell you to strip naked? Did I force your hands onto her body? Julian, dare you deny you ever betrayed me? Julian's expression sank, shade by shade, seemingly berserk. He yelled without thinking. You're no virgin yourself, so what if Jas and I actually slept together? Riley. Only now did I see whether the man I'd dated 3 years was human or demon. The air froze. Only when the hotel's wedding and makeup teams came upstairs did I remember I had apparently forgotten to cancel the ceremony. Julian's guys sensed nothing strange. What are you two staring at? Go change and head to the hotel. The relatives are all waiting. Julian forced a show of bravado. He turned and offered what he thought was a way out. All right, babe, let's drop it and finish the wedding first. He waved the others toward the penthouse loft, but I stayed planted outside the door. Check your phone. With that final line, I stepped inside and slammed it shut. Julian had partied all night. Long ago, he'd lost track of his phone. He'd first seen the group video on Jasmine's screen. He fished around forever before pulling the dead handset from his pocket. After borrowing a power bank, he finally got it to boot. The moment it lit up, a call came through. Julian's mother's panicked voice blared for everyone to hear. Julian, what's going on with you and Serena? The wedding's been called off? Julian froze. Called off? The motorcade is already in her complex. It's true. Not one Vance relative showed up. I had to ask around. Ceremony canceled. The bride price gifts came back. Julian was instantly sober. He hung up and opened WhatsApp. There at the top of his chat list was my overnight announcement. Wedding off. He lost it. Serena, get out here and explain. The shoot's done. The loft's ready. What does canceled even mean? No matter how hard he pounded. I treated the racket as empty air. Jasmine fumed on his behalf. Good riddance. What use is a wife who acts like royalty? Julian, ignore her. Once she comes to her senses, she'll be on her knees apologizing. Every guy minds a damaged non-virgin. She's the one who'll break down. Julian said nothing. But the guys nearby were getting irritated. Julian, are we doing this or not? I took days off for your wedding. Yeah, I drove back from out of state. What kind of stunt is this? Julian, man up. Barge in and teach her a lesson so she quits the attitude. Julian ground his teeth. Serena. Don't push it. The attendants from the wedding company were also losing patience. Mr. Hard, since it's canceled, we'll head back to the hotel. Some of your relatives cracked open the advance liquor. Please settle the bill. With that, they began packing up. The so-called close guys all scowled. Julian, you're slipping. Bro, wasting our whole morning. We already gave cash gifts. What a joke. Next time you marry, make sure before you call us. The vaunted guys' brotherhood imploded on the spot. Julian's face couldn't take much more. Just as he opened his mouth, Jasmine interlaced her fingers with his. Marry me, Julian. We played bride and groom as kids dozens of times. What's one more? Julian stood rigid. Before he could answer, she whispered in his ear. Your old man's saving you. Trust me, in a few days she'll crawl back sobbing. Julian caught on instantly. He squeezed Jasmine's hand tighter. He blocked the crew's exit. Tell your manager the wedding is back on new bride. Everything proceeds. Send the entire bill to me. Apparently afraid I hadn't heard, he shouted through the door. Serena, you chose this, don't come crying later, finally. He led the procession off with gongs and drums clanging in the living room. I looked at the $200K refund from the hotel and almost laughed. Swapping the bride is easy. I only wonder whether Julian can cough up that $200,000. Julian seemed bent on provocation, normally allergic to social media. Today he posted a dozen times in a row. Every single one featured Jasmine. Maybe to disgust me, Jasmine's entire look was a carbon copy of the ensemble I'd chosen. Even the stray wisps at her temples were positioned identically, though the makeup flat out clashed with her babyish face. Julian's hand circled her waist, bodies glued together. At a glance, they could pass for newlyweds. Comments rolled in. On WhatsApp, Jasmine messaged me again. Serena, just apologize to Julian. The ceremony started. I tapped the video. Hand in hand, she and Julian walked to the altar, sipping Unity wine under the officiant's cue. She slid on the custom ring Julian had proposed with. They ended in an embrace. Julian followed up with a photo, an airline ticket. Destination the Maldives honeymoon I'd booked 3 months earlier. Still time to regret it, Serena. I'll wait at the airport. I powered the phone off. Watching the plane at the gate prepare for takeoff, he didn't know. I was already aboard a flight headed the opposite direction. The Arctic Aurora is my destination now, a full day and night of flying. I landed in the Arctic near dawn the next day. The shuttle dropped me at the lodge. When I woke, I realized the handset was missing. I bought a local SIM and called the airline. That phone held too much that mattered. After the call, I gazed at the endless ocean outside the window. I signed up for a group tour. Thinking of my friends overseas, I bought postcard after postcard. I had to bring something back. On the 7th day in the Arctic, I finally caught up with the Northern Lights. On the way back, the phone I'd lost was delivered to the hotel. After a full week of going radio silent, I powered the phone on and messaged my friends that I was safe. But I accidentally opened Julian's Instagram. The honeymoon he'd stood me up for, he'd taken Jasmine instead. The two of them in bikinis, arms wrapped around each other in the ocean, locking eyes like a movie poster. The caption read, "She bailed on the sea, so you came with me." Underneath, Jasmine had replied, "Checked in." And our mutual guys were riffing. 666, out of town babe, is such a headache. You two should just date already. No wonder we haven't seen you. Turns out you're on your honeymoon. I hit like. Congrats on the 99. Honestly, two-timer and whore deserve each other. But the next second, a DM from Julian popped up. You didn't show, so I couldn't let the trip go to waste. Had to ask Jas to stand in for you. We fly home tomorrow. You've had time to cool off. Remember to pick us up. I blinked. It hit me. Everything he'd done was meant to spark a jealous act in me, to keep me off balance. 3 years of feelings reduced to a punchline. I blocked him, then deleted the chat. Who does he think he is, assuming I'd still want a damaged man? Right then the plane began to taxi. I shut my phone and closed my eyes only for the stranger beside me to suddenly grab my wrist. The unexpected contact made me flinch. Realizing he'd overstepped, he lifted a finger toward the photo still glowing on my lock screen. Ma'am, I know the woman in that picture. The day Julian flew home, I landed a day earlier. Before leaving, I'd listed the penthouse loft with a realtor. By now there was an offer. I signed my name in seconds, offloading the lovingly renovated loft at a loss. When the paperwork was done, night had fallen. I drove to another villa and fell into a dead sleep. I never showed at arrivals. Julian furiously FaceTimed me. Serena. Where are you? Why didn't you pick me up? A full day of flights and contracts had drained me. I had zero patience for his tantrum. Julian, I'm not the one who married you. A burst of static cracked through the speaker. Someone had snatched the phone. My suspicion was confirmed in the next breath. Serena, I only stepped in to save face for you two. Don't take it seriously, said Jasmine. You ditched the honeymoon, so I pinch hit. Now you're mad. I'm just one of Julian's guys. Can you stop treating me like some rival? Her tone sounded helpless, but every syllable was a taunt. Too tired for their double act. I started to hang up just as a group chat forward flashed across my screen. Guys, babe sees me as her rival. What do I do? The selfie showed her doused in spicy soup, a bright handprint on her cheek. Flew back for my bestie's wedding and the bride slapped me, screaming I'm a bitch after her hubby. LOL, I'm an international. Every guy around me is top tier. Why would I chase her hubby? If Julian and I had a thing, she never would have walked down the aisle. Advice to certain girls, get over yourselves. Your man isn't my type. The post blew up. Babe, talk some sense into your friend. Divorce him ASAP. Therapy, stat. His babe's a control freak. She thinks every woman wants her stale hubby. She must read too many CEO novels. Thinks she's the fragile princess. Jasmine's reply made it worse. Is she trying to compete with me? Oh my God, poor me. Hundreds of comments cursed me and pitied her. Some netizens dug up my photo, turned it into a memorial picture, and spammed the thread. She gambled on the fact I barely scroll socials and would never see it. Bad luck. One of my influencer girlfriends found the thread. Watching strangers drag me and my family past my red line, I open WhatsApp. You want to meet Jasmine? I'll take you tonight. Julian's welcome home party was at a bar my friend owned. After his thumbs up emoji, I texted him the address. I grabbed the car keys from the counter, threw on a jacket, and drove over. By the time I arrived, the table was in full swing. Julian started to stand until Jasmine caught his wrist. In the space of a heartbeat, he sat back down, face blank, and resumed laughing with the crowd. Jasmine hooked her arm through his, leaned her chin on his shoulder, and smirked at me. Serena, you actually came. Sorry, we figured you'd bail, so we didn't save you any food. Please tell me you're not about to get dramatic again. I swear, women are exhausting. So high maintenance. Julian frowned. What's there to sulk about? Show up late and blame us. James, when did you become such a saint? Praise only widened her grin. All right, scram off me your wife's hair. You're drunk. Carrying you is killing my back. Serena, come collect your hubby before you accuse me of stealing him. I walked over expressionless, but Julian and Jasmine kept inching closer. She lifted both palms. Don't look at me, I didn't move. Seeing her gloating face and remembering that viral post, something inside me flared. I snatched a bottle from the table and smashed it across her head, yanked her down by the hair, and slammed her onto the floor. Remember this is what me being angry looks like. Still not satisfied, I raised a glass to pour over her only for Julian to seize my wrist. Serena, you've gone too far. His grip told me exactly how furious he was. I let out a cold laugh, feeling sorry for her already. I've got worse. My other hand took the glass and poured every last drop over her head. Before the word was out. My palm cracked across Julian's cheek. I shook the sting from my wrist. That slap is the debt you owed me, Julian. We're done. Wire the final $200K for your honeymoon wedding with Jasmine to the hotel. And a $50K balance for the honeymoon trip while you're at it. Every single detail of the wedding had been arranged by me. My wedding was the face of the company. So everything was the most expensive, custom-made money could buy. Julian hadn't had a clue. He'd assumed it was just some ordinary ceremony. What? Julian stood frozen. Knowing he could never cover the bill, I kindly offered a suggestion. Oh, if you're really broke, you can always sue your princess for bigamy. Might earn you enough to pay it off. Jasmine's face drained to paper white. You're talking nonsense. What bigamy? Julian seemed not to hear. He stepped forward, trying to grab me as I left the VIP booth. "Serena, you!" But his fingertips never touched the hem of my dress. A fist slammed into his face. "You bitch! How dare you play my babe?" Logan had arrived fast. The moment he shoved the door open, he collided head-on with Julian. One look was all it took for him to recognize the man beside his babe. After his business went bankrupt, he'd been ready to liquidate everything to plug the hole. Only, just as he was about to withdraw the cash, Jasmine spiked his drink. She fled back to the States with every cent, no matter how many connections he'd used. He couldn't track her down until he ran into Serena on the flight. When he saw Jasmine's wedding photo with another man, he felt like the world's biggest fool. The last flicker of love was extinguished by rage. He stared at Jasmine, pale and fragile in another man's arms, then grabbed her by the hair and slapped her hard. "Bitch, you ran off with my money to hook another man." Everyone in the room stood transfixed. Jasmine clutched her cheek and screamed. "Get away! I don't know you, Julian. Help me!" Only when he heard her scream did Julian snap out of his daze. "Let her go." The other guys, seeing Jasmine's delicate helplessness, rushed to play white knights. "Let go of James, now!" Logan gave a cold chuckle. "You idiots, letting this whore twist you around her finger. She's my babe, the ones who should leave are you." He pulled the marriage certificate from his pocket and held it up for all to see. "Look clearly. Any questions?" A crack appeared in Julian's expression. He hadn't known Jasmine had already married while abroad. "You," Jasmine panicked completely. "Give me that." "It's fake. All fake." Logan yanked her against him, teeth clenched. "Fake." "Dare you come to the precinct and check." All bridle vanished from Jasmine's face. After 5 years as husband and wife, she knew exactly how ruthless Logan could be. The circus was over. I picked up my purse and headed for the door. But the instant I turned, Julian caught my wrist. "Serena, I was wrong. Forgive me, please." Only now did he realize I hadn't been staging a jealous act. I was truly walking away. He softened. "Nothing happened with that woman. It was all to make you jealous. So you'd bow to me. I swear I'll cut her off and listen to everything you say." He raised 3 fingers in oath. Before I could answer, Jasmine shrieked, hysterical. "Julian, you two-timer, I'm carrying your baby." Julian's spine snapped ramrod straight. I drew my hand back and shook my head at him. It's too late. A love that shows up late is cheaper than weeds. News of Jasmine's pregnancy rocketed through the influencer circle. Yet Julian insisted the child wasn't his. Desperate for a lifeline, she sued him for harassment and produced what she called proof. Julian's career took the hit. The promotion to vice president was revoked and he was suspended pending investigation. Years of hustle collapsed overnight. Cornered, he produced a medical report for the police. Julian was sterile. Jasmine went into freefall and so did every man who'd attended that bachelor party. The so-called guy's bond was exposed under the public glare. Julian's face turned the color of ash years later. Remembering that scene still feels surreal. A week after I left the country, the new owner of the penthouse loft texted me. "Girl, some guy claims he's your hubby and won't leave the doorstep." I opened the photo. A disheveled Julian sat on the threshold clutching our wedding portrait. I changed every contact channel. He couldn't find me. The loft was the only thread still tying us together. When we'd prepared for the wedding, my assistant had handled every detail. Julian had never asked a single question. He hadn't known the grand spectacle would cost him $200K, or that the utterly relaxing honeymoon would be the final straw that broke him. Now he had nothing left. I was typing a reply when the man who'd just stepped out of the bathroom plucked the phone from my hand, deleted the picture, and pulled me under the covers. "Babe, it's late time to sleep. Is any other man better looking than me?" Pierce was someone I'd once rejected at an arranged introduction. After that, he left the country with his family. I thought we'd never meet again until the flight a week ago. Now he was my legal husband. Not because I loved him so deeply, but because he was the right choice. The company's overseas markets needed his leverage. Yet tonight, I began to suspect he didn't see us the same way I did.